the most admirable chasers you could possibly wish to see.
Hello, happy Christmas and welcome to the Race Hour. This is the last review pod we'll do before Christmas, so festive greetings one and all, and hello to Tony, Keenan, Diarmuid, Nolan, and hello to our sponsors, Gambling.com and Betfred. Now, Diarmuid told me we never say like and subscribe, so all we want for Christmas is a like button or push button or whatever you do, whatever you're meant to do. I don't think I've ever done that ever on any podcast, ever. But if he could do it, I don't know how you do it, but if he could do it, it would be very much appreciated. Dermo, how was your luck this week?
All good, yeah, no, fierce good. I went Jim Randy on Saturday, a few others as well. So yeah, no, it was a cracking weekend.
Good. 2 weeks in a row you're up.
We never asked you, Cass, actually. How was your weekend?
Punting was bad. Well, to be honest, I actually did very little now because I'm all kind of
packing hampers all day long.
It's so boring, isn't it? Really, who's this guy think he is? But anyway, yeah, I did very little punting, and Fugitive, sure, I knew he'd no chance on the ground, really. Like, he actually came up, thought he might run well.
He actually did run well, though, I thought. He ran well on the ground, like.
Yeah, and I did very, very little, and good old Bet365, not as good as our sponsor Betfred, of course, but they had a super boost for 50 quid or whatever on Sunday. That got me kind of level for the weekend, but I only had about 2 bets, so yeah, did do anything. Tony, how was your luck?
Terrible.
Two in a row as well.
Yeah. Oh, actually, look, Stephen, we live. But started off with me and Bet on Friday was Majestic First, belonging to the Bromhead in Cork. Well, I thought coming to the last one, she's definitely going to hold off Spindlebury. Clips the last. Jumping was pristine up to that point, just tips it, and she not sitting in the lane. Then on Saturday, I text you anyway. I mean, me and Bet was Kintrop Callanese. What an absolute blackguard of a horse he is. He's horrible. He's about 10 pounds better than any of them, and he just does everything wrong, and then just tanks around the field from 4 out, comes down, just as that. Don't want to know. And I was on at the right price too, which was fairly frustrating. And then on Sunday, what did we see? Oh yeah, I backed that. I was on at the right price here. I backed that away to Milan in the handicap portal at Navan. Fell at the second. Turned out he would have been in the back seat because they walked in front. I was also thinking of having a saver and Glenn Kinn in the same race. Missed the price. He went from 12s into 9 to 2 and one handy. And then I got sucked into this don't go yet again. And he just wants a 14 furlong chase somewhere. He's just a complete short runner. So yeah, but we go on. Torless and Saturday.
You know what's your main problem? Your main problem, Tony, is you can remember all these things. Now that you're talking, I'm like, oh Jesus, yeah, I back Kinter Callanese as well. That was a bad beat. And then I remember the card. And sure, I had a right bet of Swing Davis. So I had an awful weekend now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, there's no super boost getting me out at the end of that.
I think one shout out here as well. Sorry, on. I actually listened on the way down to Kerry this weekend to our sister podcast, the Friday Tipping Show, and Gary Connolly there, his nap and his main bet of the whole weekend was that Arch Enemy who won on Saturday. So have to give him a shout as well. We followed him home there. So
Gary's a proper judge now. I've been listening to him on that tipping podcast. He is good. When he really fancies one, he's very good. He's very good. Right, so Dermo, we're coming to you first to discuss the weekend's racing, and you want to start with Gemmerand. Venetia Williams absolutely flying.
Gemmerand, absolutely flying. I backed this horse to win, but I do believe that this horse should have not won the race, as in the race should have been taken off him. 2 out, he basically lands on top of Madara. Like, he goes right. There's some people online trying to say that it was Madara's fault. I don't see how you can come to that conclusion. Madara jumps straight and Gemmerandi goes right into him. I don't think you can say it's Charlie Deutsch's fault, but I do think that's the crucial flaw in horse racing. Kevin Blake has been saying basically this for years as well, and I completely agree with him. If you are going to cause interference, make sure you do it in the air, because they don't do anything about that. And Charlie Deutsch, he doesn't correct it, but he's not causing it. But I think we're asking the wrong questions in horse racing. We keep asking, would the winner have won anyway? Rather than the question of, was the horse in second stopped enough that the horse might have won had this not happened? And that's what happened. Madara basically has to remake the effort then at the last fence, and then has nothing going up. Has turned out since that he's actually injured. He got hurt in it. And I just find it kind of ridiculous that Gemmerand goes right. Gemmeron, sorry. He goes right. He half lands on top of Madara. He skips away. Madara then has to come again. and nothing happens. This is going on since Special Tiara was mullered out of it back in 2014 in a Tingle Creek. This is just going on with years. Even last weekend, Paul Town had nearly said Richie Deegan out over the Ballisters. Nothing's happening about it. It's really, really annoying. And I backed the horse. Thrilled he won, but really the stewards should be going back afterwards. And it shouldn't just be the case, Stephen, that if your horse gets interfered with running in, that's the only time where you'll be in trouble. 2 out. I think that was serious enough now that he should have been thrown out. Next of all, I thought Baby Kate. Now, I leave the third there now where I know Tony likes that horse an awful lot, but Baby Kate won yesterday in a Mare's Novice Hurdle. The performance was good. She looked in trouble, jumped the last, and she powered home. But the thing that I really took from this was Brian Hayes was massively effusive after the race. Now, I know Brian quite well from the blogs and everything else. Brian's a positive guy, but he holds his counsel very well. And if you watch him back on racing TV afterwards, he can't focus on the interview. He's trying to watch the replay back at the big screen. He keeps saying that was awesome, that was brilliant. And I just loved how excited that he got about the horse. I thought she was really good as well yesterday. She looked in trouble. I like when a horse does that. She really dug it out. And if you watch back the bumper she won at Cheltenham last year, she does something very similar where she hits a little flat spot, flies home, and then basically wins with her ears pricked. And if you go back through that bumper's worked out really well. She's held back then. She's a small setback. She then goes to Aintree and she just kind of gets lost in that race there, won by Luna Diva. But she's a proper horse, that Baby Kate. And she might, because she's out so early, the kind of market hasn't really copped on yet. And I know Maureen is the big fuss horse here, but I like to look at Baby Kate now for all those Mare's Novices, and be interested now to see how high she goes, because that horse that she beat there, the
Caroline
horse,
Bamboo, yeah.
Horse was absolutely smashed. And then last but not least, Shuffle the Deck, won on Monday there, Cass, with Eastern Legend in second. They were third and fourth behind Butch Cassidy last time out at Punchestown. Butch Cassidy is a horse that we've mentioned here in the show before. That looks a serious bit of form now. That horse in second, Sir Manzarac, he was the horse who won the Land Rover bumper. And the horse in third and fourth now have franked that form since. Shuffle the Deck looks really good. Ted Walsh in his old mollycoddling old way that he wasn't going to answer properly anyway, but he did seem quite as effusive as you'll ever get him talking about a horse. All he said was, "Oh no, Joe, he's not rinkery," whatever that means. But, you know, he's a very good horse. And I just think that there was enough gone against Butch Cassidy that day that for him to kind of to have won that, he goes to Nace now in January, but he's a horse that I think we should kind of have very closely. And that Eastern Legend, I don't know whether I've missed something, but it does look like Jim Bulger has an awful lot more runners this year as well over hurdles than I've seen before. But that horse looks quite nice as well. But yeah, all of them were quite good, but not as important, Cass, as you said a Slade Steel wouldn't make a chaser, Cass, and it doesn't look like he is.
It does, no, and I don't know what to do take, but like he jumped a bit better, but he's just, he seems to use up an awful lot of petrol to get back up into gear. So Rachel, like it was Rachel's first ride back, and I saw people criticising Rachel. Tony Calvin said this now on the AK Bets podcast. That's just nonsense, I thought. He said the two of them got tired. I didn't think Rachel had that. Like she presented him perfect at all the obstacles, had him in the right position, got him jumping much better than he did the first day for Darrow Keith. But the problem was once he landed, she could get him going every single time between the obstacles, use up a bit of petrol, back in the bridle, use up petrol, back in the bridle. The horse just doesn't like jumping fences, I don't think. So, you know, whether Justice Supreme was actually that bad and his fairly okay engine got him over the line of Supreme, or you know, he just needs to go back over hurdles, I don't know. But I don't think he's ever going to make the chase right now because he'll have done so much schooling. He's well able to jump them. He just seems to take so much out of him that he can't get back into gear.
I watched him back and it reminded me of something that Brian Hayes told me when I was doing the blog with bookmakers about Impervious. And the reason why Impervious didn't make a hurdler was because after she jumped a hurdle, he thinks she was so happy with herself that she kind of stopped for like a stride. And he basically every time had to pick her up again and she'd go again. But think about, just like you just said there now, Cass, think about the petrol she was using every time.
He was nearly show jumping him and then away you go like that.
So then he said,
yeah.
He said then over fences, she just stopped doing that completely. Just literally never did it, completely grew up. And when she was hitting the floor then, she was gone. And all of a sudden, because he always told us once Impervious cops herself on, we're going to have like a grade 1 animal here. She's unreal. But I think there's something about Slade Steele jumping a fence, just like you said there. Now, I watched it just there, literally exact same. And she's having to, as Darragh O'Keefe did actually the first day as well, if you watch it, they're having to gather up momentum again after each fence. And I wonder if there is just, I don't know if he's like, would blinkers help me? I don't know. Something's needed anyway.
Well, blinkers are kind of a concentration thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
In the main. So I don't know, maybe pieces that you could gun him a bit from the front, and he just you're go. But I don't know. He seems to not enjoy it anyway, because he's having to be roused along to get back on the bridle every time. You know, what do you think, Tony?
Should the ones I think you spoke a very valid points there. His lack of maybe speed to recover. I would go back to his run in the Punchestown Novice Hurdle last April. He looked awkward there in the finish, which is something he hadn't looked at all before. So I just wonder there's a bit of temperament creeping in. Also, they've said about this maybe going back on slow ground might suit him. Yeah, I don't think he'd that much of a bother now with relatively reasonable ground as a novice hurdle. I know in the Supreme they're really testing ground where suiting him at 2 miles, but at 2.5, I don't think that a bit of yielding ground should really be that much of an issue. So yeah, definitely a bit to prove at the minute.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you go back over hurdles with him? But where do you go? Like, is he going to stay at 3 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, he might just have peaked, and he might be on the decline. It happens all the time with horses. Like, and the one thing about the race was, well, even though he kind of loomed up after the last, you were looking at it going, it's a Willie Mullins horse in front. He's not going to come back. You know, the usual thing. They never go back. They never ever come back. And Diarmuid, you want to touch on Matchborough as well?
Just that Kath, I love when I get like an excited old positive message from you about a horse, because that usually means they're unbelievable, because otherwise they're shite or they're excellent. And you basically text through and said that you know, he was class. He almost looked Sprinter Sacker-esque, as in, you know, you were being sarcastic. But I watched it back, and Jesus, he was really impressive, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, like, I wouldn't have said it on this podcast, but I wasn't being sarcastic when I was talking to you. I thought it was as good a chasing debut as I've ever seen. I mean, you're talking Gallopin de Champs. Now, bad memory. Tony will remember every chasing debut ever made. I can only remember him in the last few years. Like, I'm definitely remembering Gallopin de Champs and Gaelic Warrior or two that spring to mind, but this blew me away. Maybe not as much as Gallopin de Champs and Leopard on that day, but more than any other chasing debut I can remember. Undersold when he fell a terrorist, the other one comes to mind. He's just such an unbelievable jumper. Like, he's so fluid and so quick away from the obstacles. He's got some engine. I thought he's incredible. But Tony, you wanted to talk to him about him.
Really impressed again. Maybe for different reasons. I suppose with the McManus crowd, they don't want them winning never really their style to win too far. Like Gallopin the Champs, obviously at Leopardstown, they finished so far clear the rest of them. They just tend to ride them in such a fashion. But to me, the thing was that it looked a very unsuitable test before the race. Like looking at the Triumph, to me, he would have won that race through stamina rather than speed. It was quite slow ground. Kyrgyz travelled better than him, and he kind of found plenty with Kyrgyz over racing and what have you. So he goes to Fairyhouse on kind of nice ground, but not only that, it's on the inside track at Fairyhouse, which is really sharp. Shouldn't really suit, and yet he looks complete natural over it. Again, just looking at sectionals here, like from 3 out, he's 4.5 seconds quicker than the Kinturk Calanisi race, and like that, he wasn't anywhere remotely all out to do that. So, like, and sometimes you'd be saying, oh, based on that, is he a fast horse? No, I'd be saying that's just a pure sign of just raw ability. And also, you know, some of these beginners chases you pitch up and like there's no opposition. Like there was opposition here. Now I know they're stable mates a little bit, like, but they're 240 horses that tried to stay with him to a point anyway. No, very, very impressed with him. How would you not be? Point to maybe the 4-year-old allowance is going to now disappear when he goes over to England. They don't have that. But he's still a horse that's only at 4 runs, so you might think his scope for improvement would kind of cancel that out. So yeah, I think you couldn't be positive with him. What else was I going to say about the weekend? I think Navan was fairly low-key stuff there, bar the bumper, this Future Champions bumper, just thrown up, a couple of champion bumpers in the winners, I think, in the last 5 years. Calypso's chance. Paddy Mullins was riding this, which I'm sure a lot of people thought was quite queer. Harry Swan was on the other one. I would suspect that Paddy Mullins was on the first string here. I wouldn't think that Harry Swan had the choice, because to me, Calypso's chance had far more done.
Why, Tony, you your finger on the pulse. What the hell was Paddy Mullins riding this horse? Like, why was Patrick Mullins riding this horse? What's that?
absolutely no idea whatsoever. Bar that in these kind of black type bumpers, there's no allowances, and a lot of the jockeys now that are riding in the bumpers at the moment are kind of claimers with bigger claims, the £5 and £7 and stuff like that. Like Jamie Codd is gone, obviously, and there's a few other lads there. So Paddy Mullins, whatever your opinion of him is, he has a lot of experience. And he doesn't need an allowance or anything like that. So maybe that was part of it. Obviously, he was up doing a Racing Post interview the week before.
Yeah, we saw the Racing Post interview and he's in and he's not the click, but I don't like it one bit, even as a sports fan. I mean, that's like, when you're peak Liverpool Man United rivalry and Sir Alex Ferguson coming in to manage Liverpool for a day when the manager's sick, it's just rotten. Like, these two shouldn't be bedfellows.
No, possibly not. I'm just making the point that I think he was on the first string without any doubt. I think you only need to look at that. And even Elliot had kind of said at Downroyal, he was interviewed, I think, on the Friday, the two bump winners, obviously the Friday and the Saturday, and he kind of said that these two, they're good, but they're not at the top of the pile. Like, to me, Calypso's Chance and the horse that won at the Fairhouse, the Hatton's Grace Day, would be the two better ones. Just on Calypso's Chance, I kind of like the way he rode him, actually. He kind of gave him a bit of an education. Gigginstown bumper horses, they tend to be quite forward. But Mullins, I'd say, has actually done them a favour here, because he dropped them out. He was quite keen, settled them, and kind of rode them for a bit of speed, and I thought he looked very good doing that. Like, I don't think he can. I think it's very hard to win a champion bumper if you're going to ride forward. You get the odd year there where it's just a Gerhard Kilprit with a go no pace. But that was a year where there was no crowd there as well, so maybe that influenced it. But the majority of champion bumpers, if you watch them now, it's being mid-div or being rear, and wait, and then come near side at the depth, like a Dream to Share. Jasmine DeVoe last year, Facile Vega, even Envoyage, come from off the pace. So yeah, I think that kind of ride probably suits them. And just two other things, lower level stuff. I thought good training performances. Like Charles Bourne's got a horse here, Brave Through, from to me a very, very capable trainer in Barry. Started out with Barry Fitzgerald, and this horse was really starting to go sour with Barry Fitzgerald. Turned out to a real head case. Now he was at the corner for a Premier Handicap 10 Forums one day, Guineas meet. He just spat the dummy beforehand, just looked at a rope. Then he went to Man McIntyre, bit of success from Bourne's making this horse into a hurdler now. It's a very, very good training performance. And I'd say now that they're probably in maybe at the two-main race at the Dublin Racing Festival would look suitable for him if they got a bit of nice ground. I think a horse that definitely looked like he could have gone the wrong way temperamentally. And another horse to me that was going sour, this horse didn't win the weekend, but he ran very well, was The Art, Tom Cooper's horse. Oh God, they over-raced him maybe a little bit last year, and he ran in Gore in the handicap hurdle, the Red Mills Day. He looked completely sour, and I love with the game, rough now head carriage on him. But they figured him out this year now. They stopped riding him forward, they dropped him out, he's staying a bit further, won a good race in Punchestown, this worked out well. Probably got a bit to do in Navan in a strong race then, Tri-Town Day. And then I'd say a little bit unlucky now in the Pertemps qualifier over in Carlisle. Just noted on the line, maybe just made his move a little bit too soon. But they've got a racehorse back now. So I think the two very decent bits of training of a horse that have the potential to go sour, because as you're talking about Slade Steel, if they start to go wrong, it can take them a long time to get them back, if ever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, once they go wrong, forget about them. I think that's if you're punting anyway, like let them come back themselves. Dermo, I wanted to ask you about Caldwell Potter.
Yeah, very disappointed. I did think one of the very few benefits to kind of knowing you as long as I do is the watching out for the old knee action. And I did think he, whilst he's definitely a poor purchase, don't get me wrong, and not as good as I thought he was, I did think he looked uncomfortable now on that ground. He's a real mudlark. I think last Christmas showed that as well anyway when he won that grade 1. Definitely just, he's a bad purchase at 760 grand or whatever it was, but they all those Caldwell purchases were bad purchases. But I do think
them bizarre bit of place, wasn't it? Like,
what was he doing? Yeah, absolutely. What was it? Sorry, 2.5. Yeah, what was he doing running him back 12 days later? Like, Jesus,
Paul Nicholls.
You spend that kind of money on a horse. You spent all of last year minding him from Christmas, right? Like they didn't run him. You look at the horse, he's a real busy horse, he's one of these, he's gonna go out, make it a test, be keen and free, like probably giving himself a hard race every day. did that at Carlisle, whatever it was.
He jumped
and then
badly
running
left
back
all the
after
way
it.
as well. He was
What?
losing ground at every fence as well. And
Strange one.
mental, but Paul Nicholls has a habit of this, Tony, as well. Because I actually am a big fan of Paul Nicholls. I think horse racing needs dibbles like him that are always, he's always stirring the pot and everything else. But Paul Nicholls has a serious flaw in that when he seems to make a plan, he'll stick to it no matter what changes. Like that Stage Star last year, he pretty much soured him. Like he ran him in New Year's, or was it the year before? But anyway.
Last year New Year's Day. Yeah, he ran him after
he
winning
was
the Paddy Power Gold Cup. He went to New Year's Day to set him on the wicked bad ground. Yeah,
wicked bad ground. The horse doesn't handle it. He said the horse hated it. He said going around the parade ring, oh, I wasn't going to run him, but sure, that was the plan. I said I'd stick with it. Sure, Stage Star never came back, after that. And now here we are again. It was very obvious that Caldwell Potter had a serious race at Carlisle. It's very obvious that the horse has a serious knee action. He wants it heavy. He showed that at Leopardstown, and he still sticks to the plan. I don't know. It just seems really, really silly and weird. Really weird, Cass.
and at Cheltenham as well. I hate early career novice chasers running at Cheltenham. I just don't like it. If I own one, there's no way they're going there. Like even if it's a new course, you're still kind of there's a bit of a drag and you're uphill and downhill, like
dip and everything else. Yeah.
And it's on Nicholls. Like you're just been asking them to make a mistake that they might make on another track. You're just adding in a lot of uncertainty. Just that awful water jump at Cheltenham. There's the downhill fences. Like if
that winner was very good though, wasn't he as well? Though just for that.
That winner being on fire and Caldwell Potter, who's an absolute yoke. That winner, that winner had the hope of any Irish horse. I know he won that on.
I'd say, but he was.
I hear everyone talking about him.
He was very good at age. No, he's not going to be that, but he'll be a horse now. He'll pick up something like that.
Power of 141 next year. Like that's what he'll be doing. Forget about it.
He'll win that grade 1 at Windsor or Lingfield, wherever it is. That one there. But or the grade 2 there. But he's a nice horse. I think Nicky Henderson as well. Weirdly, him running the horse there, and he hates running novice chasers.
Well, he's always doing it. Henderson has around about four of them in all the novice chasers. Springwell, but he wasn't off a yard now. Like he's obviously going. He's entered in the handicap in January, but you'd imagine the handicap chase in Cheltenham, in March is the one for him. But no, like that horse didn't beat. He beat a non-prior and Caldwell Potter who wasn't there. I don't know about Nicholls now. Like he used to run them at Newbury, and he ran Captain Teague at Newbury, ran Rotten, and he used to go to Kempton with a good horse. He doesn't have any good horses now.
I know, but he had the potential, and he just made a serious mistake.
Huge mistake, and could have soured the horse forevermore. Yeah, I think it was it was absolutely bizarre piece of place, and Look, I don't even know where we are in the running order. I just wanted to ask you about him. And starting else at Cheltenham, Diarmuid. The race was good enough, but sorry, now I'm catching the hop because it wasn't on the running order.
All good. Look, shall I move on to my notebook, or that was at Cheltenham? Sure. And
okay.
So Bo Zenith in the handicap hurdle on Saturday. Now, first of all, the market moves beforehand were the strangest I've ever seen. Now, Nicky Henderson is at this a bit this season now. He had I just drove back up today. What's the name of that horse again who jumped terrifically at Doncaster? Jericho de Repening. He was given a very strange ride at Newbury. And here now again, Bo Zenith went from 12-1. His first run for Nicky since moving from Gary Moore. He went from 9-1 the night before out to about 33-1 and friendless on Betfair. To all of a sudden, right before the race, and then he'd Willmount the favourite, who was 11-4. Willmount drifts out then. He goes off about 9-1. Bo Zenith, he ends up back in at 7-1. And then he's away out the back. And then basically 3 out, he is miles off it. And then jumping the last, you just see this horse in yellow with a red cap flying. He finishes third. Genuinely now, if Tony Martin or Charles Burns put a horse at Cheltenham and rode him like that and had him ridden like this, they would have got serious bans. Like this was one of the most blatantly obvious placing. He's rated 135. He was second last year in a grade 1 behind Zenta. He's moving Gary Moore now to Nicky Henderson. I'm really looking forward to seeing where he's going because he was ridden. He wasn't given a single chance at all to win. And it just struck me now as being something that anyone else than Nicky Henderson, and they get a healthy enough ban now here because it was blatantly obvious. The market moves were weird. It was almost like they were covering how obvious it was, cast by throwing a few quid late on. It was very strange. Really, really strange, yeah.
Yeah. So what for the notebook bows then? It must be pushing on around a lot. Although he was running as a 4-year-old, so he's probably only 6
yeah.
now.
He's 5. Yeah, he's 5.
Yeah. Yeah. These horses do that when they're 3 and they seem like they're around forever. Yeah.
Yeah. He's 5. Yeah.
Tony, do you want for the notebook?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple here. Go back to Punchestown. Got back looking at this the other day. Punchestown, Tuesday, 10th December. The Bromhead had a horse starting out in a novice chase called Zurich. They had a fancy runner in it that ran second. Just put it down, but this horse is coming up a break. Really impressed, or not really impressed. I thought he jumped and travelled really well. Just a little bit slower than a few of them at 2 out. Didn't get a hard time. Just looks like a horse that could win an ordinary beginner's chase maybe, or a handicap. And the other one, which is much more obvious, you're talking about horses going in and out in the market. I'd say this horse was just put in a bit short. But a horse called Folly Master finished second in the 2 mile handicap chase at Navan on Sunday. He's much more of a 2.5, 3 mile type of horse. But I think he was 70 to 1 in the morning. I think he has speed at 43s. Triple will be much too sharp. He's off a longish break, but he actually showed up really well at 2 miles. I think he was 6 jumping 2 out. Powered home really well to finish second. Didn't get a hard time. Kind of trainer there, Tom Draper has him to be kind of crowded to be training a little bit for time and kind of improving kind of gradually along. So I do think he wonder if he might pitch up something like the Tim Duggan at Limerick at Christmas if it's not a little bit too soon. And yeah, just I think the first type of horse that they've had that has actually run was at Naas on Monday there, Belle de Tigress. She ran well in second, kind of flew home a little bit. Don't overdo that, actually haven't looked back at it. But just with her, like, I do think it's a bit like the Aidan O'Brien thing. I actually think there's absolutely no harm for her to get beaten in another maiden hurdle. I have a real thing about horses, very green horses winning maidens first time out. It can actually be a really bad thing for them because they're just put into too hot a company too soon. It's actually a massive negative for her. She's no point run, she's no bumper run. She's up green both days. She was green again. She's asked for that for a Monday. I didn't get paid at a decent price on Monday, and a little bit annoyed about that. But I'd say for
I
her
thought
long-term progression.
I thought she could be one for that Mayor's Handicap hurdle on the second day of the DRF. It could be interesting in that too. As in, she's a real galloper.
Again, I just wonder if she's sharp enough for something. She might still not be sharp enough for something like that in February. I don't really like backing horse first time in handicaps. Not that type of horse.
Yeah,
the what you call. I know the way you're thinking's turning up in the Kim Muir first time in a handicap's a different story. But I think standard handicap, especially horse with
big runs as well to qualify if you had to do it as well. It wouldn't be a nice way of going.
Yeah. I think to be keen to win a maiden hurdle with her first of all. Anyway,
but look, in all honesty, it wasn't if she was there to win, there's no harm that she didn't. But didn't look the best ride to me. Now, am I wrong in saying that? I didn't think she was particularly well placed throughout either, though. As in, you can mark up her effort, I think.
Say that again, sorry, Jimmy. Just put out there.
No, of course. I reckon you can mark up her effort because she wasn't the best place now, I didn't think, around, as in she was kind of
look, Irish maiden hurdle, if you're not in the first 4 or 5, you're not interested in performing on the day, and especially around Naas. Naas is a very sharp hurdle stack there on the inside of the chase, despite having an uphill finish. I think if you're 7 or 8 turning in Naas, you're doing very well to get involved in the 3. So hopefully that run will bring her on education. I hope the greenness is nothing more sinister now. I don't think it is after 2 stars. So.
Do you know what I was thinking of while you were talking about her was how good Elliot is with a filly like her. Like, if Henry wins with her now, you're very stuck in Ireland where to go. And Henry doesn't go across. But look at Woodoo or however you say it there, after winning 6 out of 6. And Elliot placed her away over in England in bad races and listed novice hurdles, and he's fantastic at that, isn't he? He's after some tune out of her now, and she's nearly at a level where, she runs in a pretend qualifier, or she could maybe go Martin Pipe or something like that. You knock a 7 time out of her, and she's probably only 135. That's it. Some of the Irish trainers,
in fairness,
the English water.
Yeah. And I think England have improved their mayor's programme a lot in the last couple of years. I think Ireland, the mayor's programme is good, but you're always running into Mullins. So if you go to England there's some very soft ones. I'd say if you're using a bit of ambition. The Cromwell, Brides Hill and a few of those other ones there last year, the Chasers, he was very quick to spot that.
Yeah. I was going to think Cromwell's other good mare might go there, but she's nearly too good for that now. Sorry, I can't think of the name for it. The same colours as Bride's Hill, the Huntington listed race. That's what I was thinking she might go for because he's so good at that kind of stuff, and he might yet. Uh, sorry, I can't think of the name of the horse. What's the name of the horse, Tony? Cromwell horse.
Oh, only by night. Only by
Only
night.
by
Last
night, yeah. I thought
Yeah,
she
yeah.
might go for that Huntington listed race, like a soft touch, and then you can go mare's chase with her. Right, so we're going to move on now. I'm going to look ahead to Christmas, and punting resolutions for the new year, and a little roundup of the year that was. And the one takeaway I had from this year, and tis the season to be jolly and happy Christmas, everybody. But it really felt like the year that we all came together and united on the fact that racing signed on its arse, and it just because there's so much bad news, and that's kind of what I remember from the year. If we are recapping the year, and it can't all be jolly. We talked last week about the gambling figures, the problems with the race program, and so on. So we won't touch on that again. But when you look back at the rest of it, I mean, we had the Irish Gambling Act coming in, the legislation with the ban on advertising. Where is that going to lead the sport? Dermo and I were in Cheltenham together. I mean, Cheltenham attendances were really poor. The Wednesday was the worst single attended day since 2009. When you think of what a behemoth Cheltenham Festival is, I mean, then you had, sort of all these measures to change around the races and the handicaps. A lot of it is because of the Irish domination, really. If everything was going fine and it was spread around, there'd be no change in the races.
Patrick Mullen said on TV the last day cast, sorry, just to back that up, he said he said, thank God we didn't win the Supreme now, or that would be a handicap as well. That's all he said.
Yeah, well, I was thinking ahead to this, and the two things with Patrick Mullen's, like, one, I was thinking ahead to this year, if Willie managed, he'll win the Arkle if in the pocket doesn't win it, he'll probably win the Champion Hurdle, he'll probably win the Supreme, and it's going to be more of the same. Now, I don't know about the Supreme yet, but it's going to be more of the same on the Tuesday at Cheltenham. At the same time, he won the Royal Bond with probably his 15th choice novice hurdler, so he probably will win the Supreme as well. So, and then you Patrick Mullins at Cheltenham saying it doesn't feel the same anymore. Having a Cheltenham winner, not getting a big buzz out of his Cheltenham winner, it doesn't feel like, sure. If Patrick Mullins is saying that, he's the one with the biggest best interest of all. So, there's that side to it as well. I mean, Willie won 8 grade ones to DRF. That's depressing, like absolutely depressing. So look, it just, young people not coming into the sport. It really just the year in review is bad news in a way. But look, we won't dwell on too much.
One quick question, Cass. Sorry, we didn't rehearse this, but what's the sorry, we don't rehearse anything. But what's what would you're looking at this now as a business owner or somebody looking on? What would you do? Like, would you put together a panel now of people trying to just see what the way out of this is, or what? Like, what do you think the solution is? Like,
well, strong. I am the clue what the solution is, but like to me, all the powers in the race course's hand more than that. Like for it to change, the product has to change, and for the product to change, it's ARC and arena racing, and the Irish racing authorities that have to change the program to make racing more competitive. And a lot of that's in the race course hands. Like, you can do other things like limit the amount of horses an owner can have in a race or trainer. And the concentration of power in traders' hands is a huge problem. Diarmuid, I don't know. Like, I'm not the man to fix it anyway, so I can't give you
no. They're not asking you for actual solutions, but like, would you be putting together now a panel of just normal people trying to fix this, or like it just seems very hard thing to actually try and turn like fix now, doesn't it? That's all my point is.
Yeah. I suppose, like, if you can identify who the 3-4 main power people are and get them in a room, like, them to agree a program, then you can start making changes. But don't know how it's going to be done. Like, you hear people say you get a Michael O'Leary figure coming in. It doesn't work like that. Like, there's contracts with broadcasters and contracts with race courses. They have legal entitlements. They're not going to give up. So it's hard to see how it's going to change. I just I'm a bit of a. Are we going the way of greyhound racing? Are we going the way of baseball in America? That's what it feels like at the moment. I'm just a fan, and I hope it turns around. Tony, I see you there looking sad. You've got sad eyes. You probably
not sad. No. That's just the way I look. I remember. I'm just recalling the lad that commented there after, but this first or second week, there must have been something very amazing going on in that show. We got Tony smiling. I'm actually not as negative as the whole thing about you. there's still a lot of the things that I like about the sport. You have a lot of fair points. Like for instance, I just think a couple of good things I enjoyed this year. I went to Galway with a pal of mine and his dad for 4 days and 4 nights. We great crack gun racing. I really enjoyed it. I said my pal has got involved in this horse Natural Luck. We'd a brilliant evening up in Kilbeggan. I thought she was going to win a handicap hurdle there the night of the Midlands National. She came to the last by getting very excited. I suppose I do like to see the ordinary lads doing well, kind of whether it be ordinary trainers or ordinary owners and things like that. And to be honest, that's the type of race I prefer betting on. Now, I'm not talking about the real low grade stuff, but I'd be a great person for the mid grade stuff. Like I meant to mention this last week, the Hilly Way was on. Like my best decision with the Hilly Way now was to have no bet, because I find those races where the 1 yard has all the runners, and it is invariably Mullins. Like I do know that. Like no way, it's just very, very. I find it very challenging. At least maybe the ones at Punchtown aren't as bad, but I think at this time of the year, and if you know, you know, and if you don't, you may as well burn your money now a little bit. I'm not a great fan of that. So, but the ordinary, like I found it, I think the racing's been decent all year. Another good day went to VRF the second day. That was decent. But no, I wouldn't be just as negative. Seeing there's still plenty of action going on in the kind of sales ring and stuff like that. There's still people who are kind of interested. It is very easy to get dragged down by the negativity, but I kind of try to do the things I like, analysing racing, watching racing, going racing, and sometimes the politics stuff gets very heavy. And I'll tell you another thing. It's distracting from your old punting now, listening to all that old noise and getting worried about it and all that. Like maybe just worry about, can you find the one that's 4-1 tomorrow that you hopefully should be 7-4? Is the like that's why I'm at it, lads. I'm trying to anyway.
Tony, you're a ray of sunshine, and we do love racing. Don't be. You're kind of half now. You're kind of half making out we don't love racing. And Peyton has a bad brush there now, Tony. But no, you're right. You're right. And I know why you're smiling so much. I reckon, Tony, were you in Turkey now? Did you get the teeth done? Because they look fantastic this year, I must say.
I think that's the ring length here. Definitely not. No, definitely not. I wish that I'd keep backing a few more 4-1, Stephen, and I might get that job done.
Yeah. No, you're looking well. Tony, you have punting New Year's resolutions as well. This is really this is desperate. No, you're a teacher, Tony. I'm going to be time to be thinking about this. I'm going to be negative here about me. Said, oh Jesus Christ! I need to get this sorted out, and it's just a simple thing of execution. I just need to stop making mess ups on stupid stuff. And I'll just give you a couple examples. Like last week, I was in doing a few bets on a betting machine anyway, the self-service betting terms, sports betting, just for UK listeners. Now, we don't have the faculties obviously here, so doing a bet on American football anyway. And anyway, I won't bore people with the stakes, but anyway, the last number that should be on my stake was 5, and there was to be a number before that. And I did 2 bets of this, and basically I forgot to put the number before it in. So I walked away from the machine with a couple of dockets for 5ers. I should have had a lot more on them. And just left someone walked in and got the couple of £100 anyway that was left sitting on the machine after me, and I'm going down the road. I went into that shop on the other way home. I backed them, the 2-1 actually, which I did. At least I did actually get the full stake on. That was down, but I just stupid stuff. Like I've had a couple this year. I've lost dockets that are winners, put the wrong selection down. I blame all this on my children, lads. By the way, like I did not make these mistakes when I was 27, 28. I just need to take my time a little bit more, because I'm always bloody rushing into shops and doing this, that, and the other, ticking the wrong box. And did you go back to the shop?
Nice.
Did you go back to the shop in 200?
No, I didn't, to be honest, Stephen, because I was that far up the road at that stage.
Yeah.
I hope some lad got a bit of luck out of it.
You done that, haven't you? You said there's no hope. You knew your 101 to be done, so you left it go.
No, yeah. As one on course bookie said to me, we're torn off one county in Ireland here. He says, actually, those lads wouldn't even have a bet, he says. It's a wonder they have betting shops up there in Cavan, anyway.
And
not my words, but I appreciate the sentiment.
To summarise that, so what's the resolution? Not to be so much of an idiot, is it? Or what's the...
Not to be, just take 2 seconds more when you're writing the docket out, or pushing something into a machine, and don't be rushing. Like, Jesus, like it's just costing you money. Like, so silly.
Good man. Well, I've got a resolution as well, right? And this is now for you, Tony, about the joy of racing, because I used to love Dundalk, and you're always watching, and I still watch it all the time. And I was never one for I listen to all the tipsters, read all the articles, listen to all the podcasts. I'm on my own a lot in work, so I get to do all this, and I love it. Like, love listening to everyone and hearing all the different opinions. But I always kind of, unless you hear a good case made, and you often would, like Frank Hickey or someone, but I'd always kind of make my own picks, back my own judgment, look at replays, and with Dundalk, which I was always big into, I started becoming a huge fan of Fran Berry, and he does a podcast for Powers, right? He's a really good judge, Fran, serious judge, very good judge of prices, and I kind of started outsourcing my Dundalk punting to Fran. And just I'd listen on a Thursday night, and I try and get the best prices, and maybe do multis, and I do singles, and you know the way you get to know someone, if they really fancy one, or if they half fancy one, or they, you judge it, and you'd scale it, and you can be making money doing it. And you know what I realized a couple of weeks ago, I said, I'm stopping doing this, because even if I'm winning, I'm not enjoying it, because there's only Fran's picks anyway. So I listen to him, and I'm just going to go back to doing what I was doing, which is solely going on your own picks. And enjoy the process, and enjoy what comes out of that, because sure, if you win a monkey or you lose a small bit, whatever, like, it doesn't affect my life anyway. So I just don't get any enjoyment in following tipsters. So that's kind of my New Year's resolution. Is it's going to be no more following Fran Berry, and just sticking to my own. But listen to our tipping podcast this Friday. Very important.
Please do, follow us every Friday. Yeah,
yes, just follow, click and like. Do you have a resolution, Dermot?
Yeah, so mine over the last year has been just to keep this one going. That I kind of left Cheltenham last year, like I'd won, like I'd a winning a good Cheltenham, but I left again going, God, I got the Tuesday so wrong once again. I just the Tuesday at Cheltenham for the last 3 years, I've just got the pig's eared, like completely the wrong way altogether. Standing beside Caswell, he was winning left, right, and centre as well. It didn't help, but. So I basically started, I'm going to keep this going and keep kind of like the data. Like, I love raw data. It's why I love horse race space and everything else. I'm boring like that. I like analysing data. That's kind of half my job. It is literally going through kind of all our commercial stuff and trying to find a structure to do it all. So I've just kind of now spent the last few months now going through, when I have a losing Saturday, going back through it, finding it all out. And my New Year's resolution is the Tuesday of Cheltenham. I don't even care if I win or lose. I just don't want to make the same mistakes again that I have for the last 3 years. That's literally my New Year's resolution, is to just try now again next year compared to this year. The few days that I've got completely wrong, just to not be making those same mistakes again, and to keep going through the data like I've been now lately. And it kind of has led to 5 of the last 7 weekends I've had now have been winning weekends. And that just is from, you start to figure out yourself a little bit more. So just... for me now, it's to become a little bit more of a colder punter, I think, just to be kind of sticking with the data now and just following that, and, not being swayed by, those lovely travelling horses I've always liked, Cass, and that sort of stuff. Let the data just kind of lead me now, completely.
That's one, you can put that down for a first weekend back, or the first show back after Christmas, hopefully. Your punting blind spots. What are you always getting wrong? That could be a topic there. We better move it on to Christmas racing here, because I go on for hours about that. The ones I'm always getting wrong. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, opposites attract, Dermo. Anyway, I couldn't disagree with you more there. Like, I'd be like, Jesus, life's too short to be landlike. Punting's about enjoyment. Like, get on with your life.
I enjoy that though, so it's just different.
Yes,
I do
enjoy that. That's fair. Look, and I enjoy it when it comes to look, I enjoy it myself to the study, but the losers are the losers. We'll move on to the next one. That'll be kind of be mine. My wife's looking at me here. Look, here I am. We're very late here recording. My fault, technical issues. We'll be 5 minutes here. Lasagna ready? Yeah. Okay, so Christmas winners. Lad, we're on a countdown here now. Tony, 2.5 minutes or less. What's winning this Christmas?
Geez, absolutely no idea. 5-day declarations in tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll take a look from there. Look, it's very busy. It's very cluttered stuff. It's the only day of the year with 3 Irish meetings on the Stephen's Day, and then plenty going on the next day. People have a lot going on with family and friends. Look, you can easily get thrown into blowing your brains here. I'd say try not to do that. Couple of races I have in mind are the 3 mile novice chasing for Stephen's Day. I'd kind of like to be, I think I mentioned this last week, compare it past the trip. If it turns into a test, he'd be a bit iffy at it. And Crow Park, the Dinmore form to me would look a bit false, and he's also bled there recently as well. So if
you couldn't pick one out of that race, so Tony, at the same time. But you don't know what's actually sitting going there.
Yeah, I think I'd be unlike Mullins to back Dancing City up so quick.
Territory, baby.
I don't think there's any real urgency to do it, because if a pair of pass is going to be declared, he's going to be like still 6-4, even money type of range. The other race that's kind of interesting me is the 3 mile hurdle on the 28th. I thought Humby the Lee looked a different horse at Navan. Never saw him travel as smoothly, especially 2.5 miles. I'd like Danny Mullen still to be back on him. Like, there is no sign of JJ Slevin coming back, so maybe that will be a thing. And look, the long range forecast there, it seems to be quite dry. I was listening to Northern Weir there today. Like, they put plenty of water on, but it's still kind of yielding. Like Diarmuid, I would be keen on Brandbridge as long as the ground comes up okay. We'd only bet because there is the worry about the trip. But again, with him, I'd just be quite happy to sit and wait to see what the forecast is. I kind of back Hewitt there this year, and the ground was fine until Friday evening, and then he's an on-run on the Saturday. So like, I don't really want to be tying money up. I'll just wait until the day.
Yeah, okay. The two. Well, the 3 I thought strong leaders running this weekend. He's 9-4 at the moment. I thought he'd be more like 6-4. That was very impressive with Newbury. Don't think he's got much to beat. He's 9-4 at a very good price. One in the Paddy Power Chase, and it's impossible rate Paddy Power Chase every year. But Nick Rocket 16-1. I'd imagine Townend might end up on him. So he could be on a single figure there. So 16-1 Nick Rocket obviously has loads of ability. I think he'd be fine even on yielding ground. He's won. It's not as hurdle. He won at Easter that time, was on yielding ground. And maybe he just doesn't quite get home over the marathon trips, the Irish National. His jumping can be a little bit sketchy, but 16-1 is just a bit big. That said, I'm talking absolute shite because I haven't backed him, and I probably won't back him with that because he's not a horse you can trust. And one I think is like Ballyburn. To talk at Kempton on nonsense, he's obviously going to go to Limerick for the 2 mile 3. Like 5-4 for him is just, what else is going to run there really from Willie? So Ballyburn will go there, and he's just pray Patrick doesn't ride and back him at 5-4. Tony, you're smarting there, but you won't say it out loud. What were you thinking there when I was talking about Patrick?
I want to say Patrick was like, I don't know, do you want to run Ballyboard and shake ground in Limerick? Maybe the ground won't be shake, so
there's no problem to him. Like, he's a soft ground stayer. They run all the good horses that be. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Actually, they probably did. The one thing he isn't about is the soft ground.
They don't want to run him on rattling ground at Kempton anyway. That's for sure. So if they want him out over Christmas, that's the race for him. And they've plenty to run in the 2 mile race at Naas. So where else is he going to go? I'd actually back him at 5-4, thinking he's 1-6 to run it, and he'll be 1-4 if he runs it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be perfectly happy backing that 5-4 now. Dermo, Christmas time, Mr. Stone Wine.
Yeah, Jubilee Express in the Welsh National will get in, if he gets in, off about 10-1. Like, he'll probably have to run outside a handicap. He's only rated about 124, this lad now, but Sam Thomas, Tamino, Welsh-based trainer, looked to me last time at Haydock like they were trying not to let him win too far. He won over 3 miles, 4.5. Sam Thomas now, he's a serious trainer as well, really, really adept. And this lad Tamino looks all out a handicap job. And if you look at the top of that market, they're well enough exposed animals like Nasalam and these horses, who've been really good in these races, but we kind of know where we are. This lad could have 2 stone on everyone, so he's one definitely. Same on Banbridge, obviously. I'm kind of thrilled with him. I do find it weird that Jimmy Mangan said that Spillane Tower won't run unless they're soft, but he looked fine to me over 2 miles 4 on quick enough ground last year, and even at Punchtown last year I thought he was way too quick for Monty Starr, so that struck me as very odd. I don't know why you wouldn't run there with him, but anyway, hopefully he doesn't. I agree with you and Strong Leader. I was going to put him up for this weekend. And then finally, I just had an anti-post punt as well there. I backed for the Turners. Novices Hurdle, I backed that Butch Cassidy at about 40-1 there now on Saturday. I just think he's...
Are we putting him into our anti-post?
We are, actually. Put him into the ever-burgeoning list of mine, yeah. As much as I'm being guided by the data, not particularly, obviously. But this lad... I just really like Butch Cassidy. I thought that was a serious performance for his time. There's kind of loads in his favour here. The form kind of keeps being franked. And a 40-1, he'll be running in January at that Naas race. He wins that, and what price is he? So I just think there's an awful lot of upside.
It's a graveyard now, that race, though.
It is, I know, but the champion bumper last year looks muck. I think the novice hurdlers, if you have a strong opinion, I think you could make it pay this year, because all those bumper horses last year so far don't really look great. Willie hasn't kind of unleashed his ones yet. Salvador Mundi seems to be still kind of seems to be his top one. I know he ran well in the Triumph, but God, we've no idea about him yet at all. So I think there's an awful lot.
He won a maiden hurdle in the middle of summer, oddly. Then
he did, but he beat, what did he beat that day? Like it was, So kind of there. So I just think that if someone has a strong opinion on those races, it really could pay this year because the form's all over the place, absolutely all over the place. So yeah, so he'd be the one there for me, Cass.
Yeah. Okay, and Dermo, we've had a good year. We've had Tony join the team. The other pod is going well. You're the man behind the whole thing. I'll let you have us down to thank our listeners. I'm going to let you do that because you're the man running the whole show here.
Yeah, perfect. Cheers. Yeah, look, it's been a great year. The preview night back in March was obviously about 40-something thousand views and everything else. And then afterwards, then we kicked back in, have Betfred on board now. We got the big Tony Keenan signing. But also now on the Friday show as well, to have the likes of Tanya Stevenson and Tom Lee on there and Paddy Aspel and Gary Conley and all those lads back and Darren Hughes, etc. It's just been a really, really strong year. It's finishing very well. Our views has never been as high. And I just want to say a massive thanks to all our sponsors, obviously, but kind of most importantly, all our listeners and all the lads who are still tweeting us here now 10 years after we first started this show or whatever else. You know, they really stuck in with us, Cass, which I was very surprised.
Naming names. Trevor Kinsland, these lads you've never met that are always tweeting.
They're always tweeting. Yeah, literally. You know, they're just great men. And the kind of thing here. So like all these lads are really stuck with us. You know, even our wives are barely hanging in there. So let alone our listeners deserve an awful lot of respect.
My wife's about to leave me now. The lasagna's gone cold.
So yeah, look, just a massive thanks to everybody. I really appreciate you all, basically.
Yeah, thanks. That's us signing off for 2024. Still a preview pod to come this week, but thanks to our sponsors, thanks to the lads, thanks for listening in 2024, and we'll see you in the new year.
Relentless, remorseless, and pounding Caldwell Potter into submission.